It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 296 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens and ducks and geese.
We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens, ducks, and geese every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster here in Maryland. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Salted caramel, one of my favorites.
We're finally doing a flavored one. Finally.
That's about the only flavor that I like, though. If I'm being honest, it's the truth.
Are we ready to sip some of this delicious salted caramel coffee and chat?
We are. But first, some words from our sponsors.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so how are you doing today?
I mean, it's hot, and I'm preferring not to dwell on that because so far this is like the hottest July. I'm not going to say that out loud. Never mind. I'm too superstitious to even say it. Nope. It's hot, but it's okay. We're managing.
So as we record, tomorrow and Thursday are going to be...
No, don't say it out loud because you're tempting fate to make it worse.
100.
No.
Agreed. So we're in survival. We're in survival mode. When it gets to be over 90, you're in survival mode for chickens. We've talked about this a million times. They do not do well with heat at all. At all.
Keep an eye on your chickens. Listen to last week or the week before's episode where we had Mark talking about best ways to feed your hen in heat. He had some really, really good information there.
Yeah. Do all the things. Have all the fans. Do all the things.
I want to talk about something a little bit different. I had a loss recently, but I don't want to make this a sad thing. I want to make this a celebration. I lost Pansy. Pansy was my oldest Swedish flower hen at 10 years old to cancer. But I just want to say that chicken was amazing. She brought joy into my life every single day. She was drop dead gorgeous. I miss her like crazy, but I just want to celebrate the fact that I had that hen for 10 amazing years.
Yeah, she lived a wonderful life. And she was kind of the matriarch, as you used to say, a little bit of the bully of the flock. She would take control of things.
She never bullied. It was her two underlings that bullied. Bluebell and Petunia. They did all the bullying. Pansy never stooped to bullying.
Bluebell was Aunt Chrissy's girl. I love that chicken. She was a stunner.
I would love to get another blue Swedish flower. She was stunning. But I also want to give a giant shout out to Dr. Rebecca and her whole staff because because of the cancer, we did end up euthanizing Pansy before her pain progressed too much. And as always, the staff at Pleasantville are just so empathetic and so compassionate. And they just, I don't know, they kind of surround you with love during this experience. And it was just very peaceful. And I just want to thank them for that.
Yeah, I mean, the women there and the men have become our friends over the last 5+ years. So it is a sad thing, but they do give so much love there. And you can tell that they love animals.
Yes. So. And they, thank God, brought me a fresh box of tissues because
it's hard.
It's really hard. It was really hard, but
it is.
I feel like they made a really tough thing. Like one of the toughest things you go through in your life is losing loved ones, whether they're animals or people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they did everything they could to make a tough decision as bearable as possible.
You lose living beings from your life, and it doesn't matter what they are. It's very difficult.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. And
it is hard.
It's hard, like the heat, too. The heat's hard.
And as we move forward, the heat. Whoa, ha, ha. That's one of the things I loved about Swedish flowers is they were one of those breeds that are really good in the heat and the cold.
Oh, you know what I want to talk about real quick is just double check your chicken's feet for bumblefoot while you're out there because I'm having some cases now.
It's a drought year in a lot of the country, a lot of the world. It's a drought year, and drought years often lead to microabrasions, which lead to bumblefoot.
Yeah. So the girls, like, if you notice them even walking a little bit slower, check those pads because they're trying to hide it. So it's a time that you should check everybody's pads. And I've had one or two with the double bumble because when they're walking, it's so,
they favor one foot and they put too much stress on the other, and then you end up with both feet. My gorgeous and gigantic Langshan, Jane Goodall, she's got a nice one on her foot that she's been trying to hide, but I got it last night. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard, man. All the things. I kind of feel like this is the final stretch of the summer, though. Once we get into August, mid-August, it starts to cool down a little bit, at least at night.
At night. And that's a big break for the animals, especially the sheep, just to be able to cool off at night.
Yeah. And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a typed review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. And not to mention, if you're really loving the show, you make our day. If you type something in there and we read it, it really does brighten our days. And hit subscribe because, hey, you never want to miss this fun.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken, duck, and goose loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons. And there are 2 more things you can do to help this show. You can buy our book, The Chicken Lady's Guide to Life with Chickens, The Joys of Delicious Eggs and Keeping a Healthy Flock. And if you listen to this podcast, you know the kind of stuff we have in this book. It's all rolled in there. We delve into some things that we don't get so deeply on the show, but this book is a fantastic reference for anyone who's a brand new chicken keeper or experienced.
It's one to have in your library forever, and it's going to help you along the way. So, yeah, pre-order, help us out. Pre-order this book.
Currently open for pre-orders on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. We have links on our website. Pre-ordering a book is one of the biggest things you can do to help an author.
And our IG stories.
You will have this in your hands on October 20th, which is the release date for our book. So if you're considering buying it, please pre-order. And the other thing you can do to help this show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
Did you know Omelette have totally changed the chicken feeder and waterer game?
What? Really?
Yep. They've launched an insulated Stay Clean waterer and no-waste feeders, and they're perfect for spring and summer.
Wow. Okay. Talk to me about the waterer.
The insulated Stay Clean water keeps water fresh in warmer weather, prevents slimy buildup, and it stays crystal clear so your flock always has cool water.
That's a big one in the heat.
It really is. Less refilling, less cleaning, and better hydration for your hens.
Love that. And how are the feeders no waste?
Honestly, they solve all of the feeder problems us chicken keepers face. Spills, wasted feed, and pests getting access to food.
Oh, yes. I'm tired just thinking of all of that.
Both feeders are designed to be spill-proof and secure, keeping feed protected and fresh. They both feed up to 6 chickens for a week, so there's less topping up and far less waste.
That sounds like a serious upgrade.
It is. And if you want to upgrade further, if you opt for the Smart No Waste feeder, you can connect via your phone and get it to open and close at times that suit you.
Whoa, I am sold.
Search Omelette, OMLET, and check out these summer-saving accessories today. The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare, and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. Da, 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 da. It's time for the Breed Spotlight, yeah!
Yeah.
Okay, this week's Breed Spotlight might drink a spot of tea, because it's...
The Derbyshire Redcap. I mean, I'm not sure that the bird is going to drink a spot of tea. Maybe they will. Who knows?
They might want a spot of tea, please.
Okay. As bad as that is, it's still better than many of your other British accents, so I'm going to take it. The Redcap is a very old breed of chicken developed in the Derbyshire region of England. Their most prominent feature is a huge rose comb, and I mean, it's a big rose comb.
It really is big.
That's what gives them their name. They're currently classified as at risk by the Rare Breeds Survival Trust in the UK. And here in the US, they are listed as critically endangered by the Livestock Conservancy. At various points, the redcap has been close to extinction in the US. Now, they were accepted into the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1888, in the English class, of course. Redcaps are believed to have originated in the 1700s in Derbyshire and around the Pennines region. That's sort of like their mountains that we would call big hills. The redcaps used to be known as Manchesters as well. There are all these sort of English folky names, usually has to do with geography, that are traded around with a lot of these early birds, like the Old English pheasant fowl, probably early iterations of what we know now to be the Sussex, the Dorking, and definitely the redcap. Some people speculate that the redcap may be derived from the Hamburg and possibly from the Old English pheasant fowl as well. I don't know that that's ever been proven or disproven. Early poultry historians tend to class the Derbyshire with the Hamburg variations, though a few sources thought that they were the opposite. And I could see this, that the redcaps came before the Hamburgs and are a much older breed. There's some credence to this just based on the chicken's type and appearance. Just the comb alone on this bird points to some age. I mean, a comb like this is generally a feature of an older bird.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's the one that gives me the willies a little bit.
Redcaps were very popular dual-purpose birds, usually kept by smallholders before the First and Second World Wars. In the period between and after the wars, they were no longer being maintained as breeding flocks, and they were probably consumed when food shortages hit. While they were fantastic birds for small flock owners, they never held any value in industrial agriculture. That just doesn't work for a bird like this. And so, of course, after the wars, hybrids and other super layers came into fashion, and the redcaps even more quickly dropped out of sight. Now, in the U.S., we don't have any dates for when the redcap arrived in the U.S. or who may or may not have brought them. But we do know for a period, they were also quite popular on farms and homestead in early America, especially in the South. Good homestead birds, good layers, good foragers. But again, they were quickly replaced in the 20th century by imports and hybrids. We've read a couple of theories that say one of the reasons that the redcap fell out of favor on farms and backyard chicken keepers is because selective breeding for showing was selecting birds for bigger and bigger combs until they were too big to be practical. And we
Makes
even
sense.
found, right?
Makes sense.
And we even found places where people called them grotesque.
I mean, I do get the willies sometimes looking at it, but it is beautiful in its own right. But anything bumpy like that, I don't know why. It's just one of those things for me.
That comb is big and that comb is bumpy.
It's big and bumpy.
Big and bumpy.
But, it's kind of crazy that overbreeding does this to these chickens. People stop.
Overall, what most likely happened is that the redcaps simply didn't fit into modern standards anymore, and they went out of fashion. We've talked about this before. There is such a thing as fashion in chickens.
Oh, yeah, like it happens. When we first started this show about 6 years ago, going on 6 years ago, no one had heard of salmon faverolles, right? And we all started talking salmon faverolles.
Well, people who were into heritage breeds had heard of them, but the average casual chicken keeper, what's a faverol?
Right. But when you start talking about them and spreading the word about them and then people see them, that's what happened with this bird. And then it kind of just like, oh, okay, they fell out, like you said. Okay, so let's go on and talk about what they look like and all those standard things. They are standard size bird. The hens come in weighing about 6 pounds, the roos about 7 pounds. So they are average size. They're not huge birds.
But they're not tiny. They're not tiny either, right?
No, they're right smack dab in the middle. So that's good. They have a large rose comb, as we've been talking about, as well as those red earlobes. And the comb itself, just sometimes some people have problems with stuff like that. It's like sensory overload. For some reason, my thing is I have a problem with something like that. Mm-hmm. But I was saying to you when we weren't recording that if I had this bird, it probably wouldn't do that to me. So I'd probably be fine. Now, it is unusual that they have those red earlobes and they do lay white eggs. That sometimes can happen. They have those blue legs, the red-brown feathers spangled with black crescents. Sound beautiful, right?
They're gorgeous.
Do yourself a favor as we're talking right now about this bird. If you can, look them up so you can understand what we're saying. It's an irregular pattern not as clear as the lacing on the similar colored Barnevelders. And we all know Barnevelders are absolutely gorgeous.
They're stunning birds. They are. Keep
in mind that this bird's going to be really pretty too. It gives them a good camouflage and overall it's an unusual look. Definitely. Now, big question. They're going to lay you quite a few eggs.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in at 200 white eggs, like we said, per year. That's not anything to sneeze at. That's a good number.
No, that's a very good number. Yeah.
The girls are going to have that same rose comb as the boys, but it's going to be smaller. So, they both can have a little bit of the benefit of it. They're active and excellent foragers. They rarely go broody. All those things are telling you they're going to be a good bird for your backyard or your homestead. Now, listen to this, because Lewis Wright, in his writing in the very early 20th century, he notes that hens often start laying very late. And that's about 8 months old or so. Mm-hmm. I've had hens wait that longer that are heritage
I feel like
breeds.
Some of the older heritage breeds, definitely, with the exception of maybe the Egyptian Fayumi, some of the older heritage breeds can really take a long time to get going.
I think my longest were the Morans, and I think they were 10 months, 9 months.
That sounds right, 9 or 10 months, yeah.
And you begin to think maybe they're not going to lay.
Never going to lay.
Never going to lay an egg, and then finally they do. Now, he also notes that the chicks should be hatched during temperate times of the year, and that makes a lot of difference because in the early 1900s, you wanted the weather to be pretty good. You don't want it too cold, right? Because that's going to affect things, or too hot.
I mean, honestly, that still applies today. If you think about someone who maybe is trying to, we're going to talk a lot more about this, but someone who's going to be working with the breed as a conservation breeder, because you're going to be putting a lot of babies on the ground. So you might need to do this to a more natural rhythm where the temperature supports them a little better.
After all these years that we've been doing this, in the very beginning, I did not really see like a must for summer chicks. But now, after so many years doing it, I really see the good side of summer chicks.
As far as I'm concerned, my opinion only, and I already have layers, right? The only reason that it doesn't work to have summer chicks is if you want them to start laying sooner, right? You're probably going to have to wait until the next spring for them to lay.
Right.
If you already have birds, if you already have layers and you have an egg supply, that's not a big deal. But there's a lot to be said for chicks in the summer. I agree.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the beginning, but now I do.
Mm-hmm. Now, the redcap is a bird that definitely needs support in very cold weather. That immense comb is like a bullseye for frostbite. And with all those nooks and crannies, the risk of infection is probably pretty high. With a comb like that, you cannot, and please don't, because this would go very badly wrong. You can't just slap Vaseline on that comb and hope that it's going to be fine.
No. You need panel heaters, and you need a place to bring them where it's warm.
There are a lot of blood vessels and all those intricate points on the comb, and those can freeze and turn into necrotic tissue. And like we said, with all that texture, you've got, I think, even more risk for infection. And
And if you're going to go out to the point where you're trying to get red caps, you don't want to do something crazy and have that happen. I mean, this is an endangered kind of bird.
This is a very endangered bird. The fact that they're not good in the cold is why they were so popular in the American South. Again, that makes perfect sense. Now, the redcap, if the numbers were higher, could make a nice homestead breed. And with their unusual beauty, they would make a great addition to a fancy flock.
And because they're good foragers, they would be great to help in the garden and do all that kind of stuff. And they're great. They lay a respectable amount of eggs. Both of us would not call this a beginner bird, for sure.
Well, we wouldn't call them a beginner's chicken for several reasons. One of them is because they can fly. And if they're not handled regularly, they can be fairly wild in temperament.
Yeah.
But right now, because they're so scarce, that's kind of a moot point, because most beginners are not going to be able to get their hands on a redcap.
Right. And actually, you would want someone way seasoned to deal with this bird to keep them going without having to learn all the things at first.
Right.
So that's the only reason we say that, too. So they need some urgent help. They need some conservation help for this bird. And along with our main topic coming up, you're going to hear about it. So here's $1 million question. Where do we find the redcap?
Virtually nowhere right now.
It's not good. And that's a nervous laugh right there. That's not like a funny laugh.
That's kind of like, ooh, that's not good.
That's not good.
You can check in with the Livestock Conservancy's breeders directory, or better yet, Listen on to our next segment. Today's main topic, we're going to be talking more about the Livestock Conservancy's new Redcap breeding program.
Yeah, listen on.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Eaton Pet and Pasture is a farmer-owned company based in upstate New York that creates USA-made sustainable products for backyard chicken keepers. From low-dust hemp bedding and comfy aspen nesting pads to nutritious treats and odor-eliminating products, everything is designed to keep your coop clean, healthy, and smelling egg-tastic.
All their products are made right here in the USA with ingredients that are safe for your flock and the planet. So whether you're doing a deep clean or just a quick refresh, Eaton makes it simple to care for your coop the natural way.
They're your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness, made easy.
Visit EatonPetAndPasture.com to explore the full line of flock favorites and use the code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount. So, are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah!
Yeah. Okay, we're really excited this week to have two special guests with us. We have the wonderful Jeanette Beringer, Senior Project Manager with the Livestock Conservancy, and we're also joined by Brian Larson. Brian is a longtime agriculture specialist who's in North Carolina, has worked with sheep, and right now is getting into the poultry with Jeanette. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Welcome to the table.
So you two are about to kick off a really, really big special project. Well, I should say you've gotten it underway already, right?
Yeah. It's actually something that Brian actually has had on his mind for, I think we've been talking about it for about 4 or 5 years now, that he's transitioning from sheep to putting his skills to chickens.
That's awesome. Come on over to the chicken side, Brian. You can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The sheep side is great, but I get moving over to the poultry.
Yeah.
Now,
Easier on the knees.
isn't that the truth? Whew.
You don't have to share them either.
My husband and I were doing toenails the other night, and I'm upside down kind of working on this foot, and I thought, I'm getting too old for this. So
Our family has a long history of farm flocks for chickens. So it's kind of like for me to come back to our heritage that my grandmother and mother had been the keepers of the flocks. And so I really enjoy taking on this task.
that's really nice that you get
That's
to carry it
awesome.
along. Yeah. So what we've been hinting around about is that you guys are starting under the aegis of the Livestock Conservancy, a breeding program for the critically endangered Derbyshire Redcap Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, when Brian first asked me what chickens needed help, that was the first one that jumped out at me because I had finished doing a poultry census and they were few and far between. And the few that were out there were in maybe 3 farms, and only one of them had a flock of more than 5 or 6 chickens.
Wow.
And
Oh, man, that's horrible.
yeah. And it was around that time that I was chatting with Greenfire Farm, and they were asking, well, what breeds need help? And of course, I went Derbyshire Redcap.
Mhm.
And so they actually made an import a few years ago, And the birds that we're working with right now are a result of that import. And so right now, Greenfriar's building numbers, and that's what we're trying to do, is build as many numbers as we can this year, and then maybe next year bring in some U.S. lines, because I think both the British and U.S. are suffering from inbreeding. And like the Crevecoeur project, when Greenfriar imported the French Creves, it was a game changer for the breed. So we're hoping that this is going to help.
I say Greenfriar does some excellent work in helping the preservation of these chicken breeds, and just give them a shout out, because they are bringing in chickens that people don't talk about, don't think about, but need our help immensely. And I just think that's an amazing job on their part.
Yeah. So we're not only raising numbers, but part of what mine and Brian's job is to document everything we're finding. A lot of this, you've got the breed standard, but a lot of the things that you just don't know what to expect, like how heavy are the eggs? How heavy are the chicks when they come out of the incubator? Brian just weighed them at 1 month. What characteristics are popping up that we haven't seen documented? And that's going to be really important as we move forward, so that we allow people to understand what's normal for them, because that's really an important thing that a new breeder needs to know. With the Crevecoeur, it's like, my chicks have white feathers. And I could be like, no, that's normal at this age. They're going to molt out. Don't have a freak out about it, you know? But that was not written down anywhere easy for people to find. You know, I found it in an obscure French text from the 1800s that said, this is normal. So I'm like, yeah.
Right now, what kind of numbers are you looking at?
Our first hatch, we didn't have as great a luck. And Jeanette can talk about that if she wishes. But right now, I only have 8 pure Derbyshire Redcaps. But it's actually good, because since I haven't had chickens for a long time, I'm getting quite used to them, and they're getting used to me. And in raising farm livestock, I do not tend to make close personal friends with my chickens, but I want us to have a mutual respect. And that way they act more like what they're supposed to act like, I think.
I was going to ask you what type of personality you're seeing after 1 month are with them.
Well, right now, I would say that they're still in a shy stage, but getting much more assertive in feeding time. They are a hoot when I open up the door for them to go out on the run. And they just go out the door screaming and running, and then they're chasing bugs all day long.
Are they starting to establish a pecking order at this point, or?
Not quite.
Not quite, okay.
Of the 8, there are 3 males and 5 females.
Good numbers.
Those were good numbers.
Yeah, the males are, I'm sure they're going to start acting like males more so. But they're really cute. And I
love that.
So it's been so long since I've had chickens and raising chicks that it's really like a new experience for me. They're growing up, so.
Yeah, we really, when I got them out of the incubator, I actually started them on a ornamental chick diet, which was up around 24% protein, and they gobbled it up. And I also wet it down so that it would be more digestible for them. And they were growing like weeds. And I'm happy to say, right as we're talking, there's another batch hatching. I've got 8 out of the shell, and I've got at least 3 or 4 more that are pipping.
Great.
So Brian will have a whole bunch more to add to his flock. And they're ready to jump out of the incubator, get into a brooder. But you want to open that door, but you're like, don't open the door.
Yeah,
it's hard though. It's hard.
But one interesting thing to note with these guys that in the first hatch I learned the hard way was they need a lot more humidity than I was using to hatch like my Crevecoeurs or Buckeyes. And my other birds, I was incubating at 45% to 50%. And these guys for incubation need 50 to 55%. And then during hatching mode, I've actually got them up to 70%.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're popping out so much easier. The first batch, I was hatching at 60%, 62%, and it wasn't high enough. So actually, it was a little bit less. It was 58% because I was usually hatching at 55. And 70 is the sweet spot for them with this incubator.
Interesting. So, that's really a good point to have for people out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody who wants to try to do this, that is a really good fact to put out there.
And that's the stuff we need to document because you just don't know. I mean, I've hatched hundreds and hundreds of birds, and each breed's a little different. The other thing that I wanted to mention, which it shouldn't have been new to me, but temperature sensors, after a while, wear out in incubators. I don't know if I assumed or I just didn't pay attention that my incubators are starting to get older. And my GQF's now probably more than 10 years old, and it runs like a top. But I know to put a secondary thermometer in. This go round, it just was all over the place. And I couldn't regulate it for the life of me. And then I thought, I got a secondary incubator. It's only 5 years old. That one was all over the place too. And so I ended up at the last minute with this second hatch replacing the temperature monitor sensor in the GQF because that was $60 and you can replace it pretty easily. And then bam, it was spot on. But the other thing that I learned the hard way was I wanted to get a secondary thermometer that was easy to measure and accurate. I thought, I'll go digital because they're pretty accurate. They're not. And I ended up getting digital ones that were $15 and they had a slick program and everything. And they weren't worth it. My temperatures were still all over the place. And so I ended up investing in a better probe that you could actually calibrate. So you can take the sensor and put it in a baggie and then put it in a bowl of ice water and calibrate it to 32 degrees. And you've got it pretty close. It was well worth it because I've had no fluctuations and it's been spot on. And even though the temperature in the incubator says one thing, I'm relying on this sensor to be the most accurate. So I've been following that and boom, the chicks are hatching exactly when they're supposed to. Right. Everything's going great. Temperature's right on, humidity's right on. And so
you had a rough go of it in the beginning.
You don't know the half of it. The birds was supposed to, I switched over to hatching a few days ago, night before last. My dog, who is obsessed with chicks, she jumps on my bed at midnight and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And, my husband's like, and get the dog up. She jumps on again and we're like, okay, something's up. So I get up, I let her out. And the next thing I know, the power went out. And this is like just the day after I set them up for hatching. And I think she heard them pipping in the egg. And she's so obsessed. She is like, something's going on over here. And
that's awesome.
Thank God we got up because if we hadn't, we would have lost the hatch. My husband got up in the middle of the rain and everything, set up the generator, and we were able to, it didn't get colder than 93 degrees.
Thank goodness.
What's your dog's name?
Amelie.
Amelie, we have to give her the biggest shout out ever.
I can't remember. Is she the poodle?
She is. She's the standard poodle.
Amelie, the standard poodle. I know you told us about her because she sounds amazing. Amelie gets a big reward for this one. Talk about
shout out.
Yeah, we would have lost that hatch. But when they go, I keep them in a little see-through box as a brooder, and they're nose level to Amelie. And when they're in that brooder, all you have to say is, "How are the babies, Amelie?" And she's like, and then she runs over to see how they're going.
I love that.
She's Mama. She's Mama Amelie now. She's
she loves chicks. I don't know if she wants to eat them, but she loves them. And, But we passed them off to Brian, and he's had them for a couple weeks now. And we're really excited to get this second batch and get going with it. And I don't know if you want to talk more, Brian, about what you've been finding. Or
I was going to ask Brian, what is new that since you haven't done chickens in so long, what are you finding new about your experience? Is it a new love for it? Is it, what are you feeling with this?
Well, I'm still in the romance stage. I don't know if it's love,
the honeymoon period.
I think the biggest challenge for us in Western North Carolina and maybe other places is predators.
Yeah.
And we have just about every category of predators that you can think of anywhere, starting with bears and down to weasels, and coyotes, skunks, raccoons, you name it. Whoever likes chicken is here.
Yeah.
Then we have the airborne, the hawks. We don't have eagles here. But so I've spent the last 2 months preparing for predators. So
tell us about some of the things you've done to prepare for predators. So maybe that will give someone else some clue on what the things to do to prepare your run and your setup.
Well, the challenge with the bigger predators is that they would like to force their way into the chicken group yard. So the fences are essentially goat panels that are 4-inch square, and then inside of that is chicken wire. Typically, you wouldn't just use chicken wire because they can just tear that up.
Exactly.
But with the goat panel, they can't get to it. And then over the top, they're exposed to the sky. There's shiny wires stretched from the top of the goat panels that Jeanette had said that kind of confuses the airborne predators. And so far, we haven't had any incursions. Then on the outside, I've been using hardware cloth to prevent the diggers. So I've got that on the outside. We're on a steep slope here and heavily forested. So it's relatively cool for them.
That's good.
Yeah, they have a lot of shade. And then beyond the race, and it was a big heavy-duty plastic tent with roll-down sides. So in the summer, the sides go up as high as the goat panels, but no higher.
Okay.
In the winter, those will get rolled down and it'll be a little more controlled. So far, it's working well. My wife and I spent a lot of time with zip ties, everything together.
Yeah.
And then to put the hardware wire or hardware cloth down, we had to get some very sturdy, big monster staples. They're about 1 foot long.
Wow.
They need to be really holding everything down. So far, it's working very well. We haven't had any incursions, there's no sign of any attempts. So we'll see how that goes. They're only out there from 7 in the morning until 7 at night, but they're inside at night.
So what's your plan going forward? Are you going to have birds divided into like breeding pens?
Yeah, we've got that capability in the penning. I can divide up in the tent, and then in the building, I can divide that however I want to. But the process is more familiar from Jeanette's perspective than me. I know that we're going to introduce some American, probably roosters or something, to cross with some of these. I've already had people asking, when can they come and get some of these?
Yeah.
There has to be some guidelines for that.
You have some precious little chicks there, and it sounds like you're going to doing everything you can to protect them. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't want to have any tragedies here.
No.
And part of the strategy going forward is to make sure that some of the genetics go elsewhere. So like next year, if we can hatch as many as we can, I know we won't have any trouble placing them.
Maybe Holly will take some.
If I were so busy doing a podcast and writing books, maybe, but
Yeah. Well, I think Brian's lined up some folks that are interested, and we have to make sure they're going into the hands of somebody that's going to do like what Brian did to make sure they're not going to get eaten by the neighbor's dog a couple weeks from now. Because I can't tell you how many of my Crev cores,
It's so sad.
I've sent them on, and then they're like, "Oh, a raccoon got them." I'm like,
we really stress on the podcast when we talk about conservation that you have to be 100%, 110 in, because you have a precious commodity here.
You have the rarest of the rare, and that's an important piece of stewardship right there.
And not doing willy-nilly stuff with your security and everything else, because you want to protect those genetics.
Mm-hmm. So, and I know this is hard to say. I mean, I suppose you could probably extrapolate a little bit from the Buckeye and the Crevecoeurs, even though they're not the same bird at all. But what's your time frame for this? Are you looking at like 5 years, 10 years? Do you have an end insight for the project?
Well, I mean, to recover a breed, the effort from start to finish to get it to a point where it's good is, 8 to 10 years. I know Brian's not going to be with us. He doesn't have that long a commitment, although maybe he will.
If he falls in love, I
don't know. He's already called him cute. He's in the romance phase.
But this is where I'd like us to keep involved with it and helping people do proper selection on them, because right now they're not making breed standard weight. We really need to get them up there and meet an APA standard. So standard weight for a rooster is like 7.5 pounds, but right now they're only at 5.5, which is kind of funny. That's exactly where the Creves were, when I got started with them. And that takes a few generations to fix. Sure. And we've said this before, to improve size, you pay attention to the hens. The rooster can help, but it's the hens that give you the big bodies. Yeah. And so that's where you really have to pay attention to the good bodies.
I mean, it's always the hen that delivers. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian. Sorry.
Color's important with the males, but bodies are important for the females. So that's the two focuses when you're doing selection early on. But you got to work with what you got. So if things aren't perfect, that's okay, because it's a numbers game and you just got to hatch out a whole bunch until you finally get what you're looking for. So that's where getting partners are important, is getting other people to raise them so that we can get more on the ground.
And my question is, if somebody wants to jump on this bandwagon and they're going to do all the things and be serious about conservation, where can they go to start their own flock of redcaps?
They're pretty limited right now.
Nowhere. Holly's saying nowhere.
Yeah. And what we're doing, it's going to take a little bit before we're able to get animals out to folks. But I would say check back in a couple of years and see where we're at. Right now, we got to build numbers, and you just got to be patient is all.
This is very early days for this project. Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to talk about it just to start building interest in the breed, and maybe somebody will come out of the woodworks that has these guys. Please reach out to us,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, reach out to info@livestockconservancy.org if you're working with redcaps, and we'd love to talk to you. Like I said, I have a few people in a poultry census that have them, so I'll be reaching out to them. But if there's anybody else out there, we'd love to hear from you.
And support the Livestock Conservancy. Go sponsor them. Do those things to help these different programs keep going. And that's something we can all do in the next few years before we can get our hands on them.
You can follow the Facebook group, Derbyshire Redcap Conservation Project. And then if you guys are willing, we'll have you on again, say next summer, and we can do an update and see how things are looking then.
That'd be great.
I think Brian will have like 4 redcaps like sitting on his lap at that point. Maybe one on his shoulder. And he's going to be like, I'm still in the romance phase. I just love these guys.
But one of the neat things is, with just so few, you would expect more variation, but they're very uniform.
Oh, good.
The 5 females are all the same size. The 3 males are within ounces of each other. Their color patterns seem to be very strong. They're developing right now.
Right.
Their comb structure is just now beginning to catch your attention. It's not red yet, but
it's a great start.
Yeah.
It's a great start. I love it.
Adult redcaps are really stunning birds. So we really look forward to seeing how this project goes.
I'm looking forward to seeing Brian with the birds. I really hugging them. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I was doing some historic research on them, and there was a description of the crest that Chaucer did. He has one of his stories, The Nun's Priest's Tale, which is about a rooster called Chanticleer. Yeah, and the bird had a crest redder than fine coral and battlemented like a castle wall. And I'm like, if that doesn't describe the head of a redcap, I don't know what does.
It sure does. It sure does. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for coming on and chatting with us today about this, because this is so important in the world of poultry to keep these breeds alive. That's why we talk about heritage breeds every single week on the show. We want to keep everything going, because look at it this way. You don't get anything else if you don't have the foundation breeds alive and going. Seriously, so let's keep this going. And I can't wait till you come on next time. And Brian, you made me so happy talking about how they're growing on you and they're cute and everything else.
They are.
We'll have to come out and visit the redcaps.
Yeah. We got some great pictures on the Facebook page and some video. So if you want to see how they're doing, take a look, because Brian's doing a good job taking video and images as they're growing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I'm going to link the Facebook page in the show notes for this episode. I'm also going to link the Livestock Conservancy. If you're not a member of the Livestock Conservancy, why not? Please go join and support this organization. And Jeanette and Brian, it's been great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
We just want to thank Jeanette and Brian one more time for a really thought-provoking and important conversation. The redcap is a treasure. All of these breeds are treasures, these heritage breeds, and we don't want to lose them. You can keep tabs on the Redcap Project. Jeanette has a Facebook group we talked about in the episode. You can always become a member of the Livestock Conservancy for a small monthly donation and get regular updates.
Thank you both again.
If your flock could talk, they would thank you for shopping at Eaton Pet and Pasture, your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness made easy.
From their all-natural USA-made favorites like hemp bedding, roost refresh, and nesting pads to convenient product bundles that make chicken care simple, Eaton has everything you need to keep your coop clean, cozy, and odor-free.
Check them out at EatonPetAndPasture.com and use code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount.
Okay, so we ready to move on to
Cracking the eggs.
Cracking those eggs. Now, we're Maryland girls through and through. And you know what? There's something that we love here in the summer, and that is crabs, right? We love us some seafood in the mid-Atlantic.
Well, I got to tell you, I used fake crab in this recipe.
But if you have to, you can use fake crab or you can use real.
I did it for two reasons. The first is because crabs are crazy expensive right now, and because I don't have the time to pick a crab to make this macaroni salad.
I have near me like a place where I can buy it already picked, and I use that, but it's more expensive. But like
see,
you said,
I repick it. Even if I buy it already picked, I repick it because I do not do crab shell bits in my food.
We have a saying here in the DiCarlo house: if you get crab shells, you know it's real. It's like, oh yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
but I don't want to know it's real. I just don't want crab shells in my salad. I'm just saying. So this salad's perfect for those hot July days when you do not want to be standing in a hot kitchen or even eating a hot meal. We all have those moments recently. You can use either duck or chicken eggs for this recipe. They both work really well. We like to serve this with a side of some melon, some sliced tomato, maybe a little corn on the cob.
Or this could be a side for whatever you want too, you know?
That's true, yeah. In the Kosmala household, the salad is the main deal, but it absolutely makes a good side.
In the DiCarlo household, it's probably a side along with some other stuff, but that's to each their own, right? Like
that's
everybody
right.
does it. Okay, so let's go through the ingredients that we're going to need for this salad. A pound of elbow macaroni. You're going to cook that al dente and cooled. I usually rinse mine with cold water to stop that cooking process, just so that, because if not, mine gets mushy. I get mush.
You need to rinse all pasta. You do.
Yeah. Just for at least the salads. Now, if you're using the gluten-free pasta, cook a bit past al dente, rinse the gluten-free pasta thoroughly, then toss it with a splash of olive oil to prevent the clumping when it's cold.
Yeah, you're washing off. You really thoroughly wash it to get extra starch off of it. But gluten-free pasta has a tendency to glom together when it's cold, which is not good for a macaroni salad. So
No, not at all. So let's go through the seafood. 8 to 12 ounces of cooked shrimp, peeled and chopped, and 8 ounces of imitation crab meat or regular crab meat of your choice, whatever you want to do.
It'll be really good with crab claw meat. Claw meat's good.
Yeah. Claw meat's really good. 4 to 6 chicken or duck eggs, like Holly said. You're going to have them hard boiled and chopped. A half a cup of finely diced celery, a quarter cup of minced white onion, a cup of mayonnaise, 1.5 teaspoons of yellow or Dijon mustard, 1 to 2 teaspoons of Old Bay or Cajun seasoning. And that Old Bay, I'm heavy-handed. I'll probably go way more than that.
Yeah. I don't like it too spicy, but there's a big range there. Just season it as you like it.
Yeah, exactly. A half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a generous handful of chopped fresh basil and chives. This one's easy. I mean, the salads are generally easy to do.
It is pretty easy, yeah. So you've already boiled your macaroni and rinsed it and all that stuff. So in a large mixing bowl, you want to combine the mayonnaise, the mustard, the Old Bay seasoning, the smoked paprika, the garlic, and the fresh herbs. And mix all that until it's well blended. Then you're just going to add all the rest of the ingredients to the bowl and gently toss it until everything's coated with the dressing. Cover and chill it. I like to have it chill for a couple of hours.
As my mom always says, those ingredients congeal together and make it a better taste.
Oh, congeal is such a gross word, but meld. The flavors meld. Yes.
Yeah, they do. That's a Jackie word. She says it's all congealed so much better.
So you can cover and chill, let it congeal or melt or whatever you want to let it do. And then before you serve it, you can garnish it with a few sprinkles of smoked paprika and a scattering of fresh chives. Makes it look extra pretty. And there you go. It's that easy.
It's a way to get a protein in a salad so that if you wanted to, like Holly does, use it as a main, you can. And even if you wanted more protein, you can now buy protein pasta. We get it here so that you can get a little bit of protein in with your pasta.
I am doing this summer by the Mark Eggers rule of protein. Too much protein in the summer is not a good thing. I will eat watermelon until I feel sick of it.
You know what's good? Because we usually, when the girls and I are here and Joe's away, we just do pasta and sauce. So the protein pasta does give us a little jolt because we don't do a meat or anything with it. So
gluten-free pasta is automatically higher in protein because of the grains used in it. So it's probably about the same.
Yeah, I have to look at that. I'm going to look at that and see. That would be nice to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so try it. You're going to love it. I'm not going to say you might like it because you're going to love it.
For me, the smoked paprika makes it. I love the smoked paprika.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah.
This week's retail therapy, we're taking another look at chicken egg aprons because why not? They're adorable.
And also duck and goose aprons because the country goose and the country duck, like the 1980s blue ribbon wearing country goose and duck, they're having a moment. I mean, you can find them on everything right now.
They're having the thrifting moment. It's like all the thrifting reels. If you're like us, we get them on our phone. People who find them are loving it. I think, was it last Christmas I got you all the stuff from the thrift store with the goose?
Yeah, there's a lot of cute goose stuff. I was shopping for new kitchen rugs the other day because when the power was out, I managed to knock Pete's big glass off the counter. And it hit our power unit and shattered. And it was shattered all over my favorite chicken rug. So I had to toss it. I can't get those shards out. So when I was shopping for kitchen rugs, there they were, the geese and the ducks with the blue bows on them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So the aprons, the thing I have noticed is which this isn't new, but the crocheting of the aprons is a big time thing right now. And instead of putting pockets, it looks like a hen. They're so cute.
It is pretty cute. You can just tuck an egg in each hen that's on the apron. Yeah.
I love them. They're amazing.
Egg collecting aprons are still pretty popular. Just aprons in general, even if they only have one front pouch to put some eggs in when you go out. Just aprons in general, I feel like they've been popular for the last couple of years, but they're still going. Those egg decorating aprons with the places to stash eggs when you're out. Super cute, super fun. I could see where kids might want to go collect eggs wearing a kid's apron that way.
Yeah, and you don't really realize you need it. Now, if you're by yourself, you'll realize it quick. In this time of egg laying, you'll be like, I don't have enough hands for everything.
Oh, wait. You mean when I stuff so many duck eggs in each pocket of my shorts, they fall down as I walk into the house? And that did happen.
Exactly. But, the other thing is, you and I have been here. I go there a lot. It's Joe Retro. It's in a little coastal town called Havre de Grace by our house. And she sells vintage aprons in there.
Yeah.
Love them. And vintage aprons just to wear around are somewhat fun.
They're pretty. They tend to be hand embroidered or have, little like ruffled details and things like that. They're really fun.
Yeah. So do yourself a little mini vacation and look up chicken egg aprons or duck egg aprons or goose egg aprons, because you're going to need different sizes for those ducks and geese. And look them up and see some of the cute stuff.
You're not getting a goose egg in any of those apron openings for the chicken.
One would be cute if it were crocheted with the big goose, like 4 geese or 5 geese to hold the geese.
You can tuck the geese egg. Yeah, that would be cute.
Blue and white. That would be cute.
Here's what happened though. My geese would either run screaming from the side of the apron or they would try to eat it. They would probably take it apart, find a thread, pull it, unravel it.
Probably. Now, should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting. Oh, this is a listener request that's been on the back burner for a while, but the African goose.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
That is a big, beautiful goose. Lisa Steele is joining us to talk about best beginner goose breeds, because you all are going goose wild out there. Recipe is curried eggs.
Yes. Sounds good to me.
Easy, fun, look great, delicious. And retail therapy is fun water features for your geese.
Don't want to miss it. What should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese every day.
And kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.